サタンしろ
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 202 of the Saturn Studs podcast. I'm Kurt, joined once again this week by my dashing and debonair co-hosts, Peter and Jake.
Hi, everyone. And this week, it's the Dwayne the Tequila Johnson edition, featuring everyone's favorite disease, swine flu.
H1N1, man.
He's back. It's called H2N2 now.
It's back, baby. H2N2. Electric Boogaloo.
I think H2N2 was actually another strand of the flu.
COVID 2K19. It's the annual franchise.
Purr. It's back. Back in black.
Yep. Back in.
We're all
back in every country.
Lyrics, you know?
I was hoping that the rest of the song would come to me, but it didn't. We're coming at you live from quarantine. We're all quarantined from the rest of the world. Because we all have it.
We've been
The
stuck.
Saturn Studs podcast is canceled until September due to fears of the coronavirus.
We all have the bug.
Cancel culture on Twitter has gotten out of control. It's happening in
I
real
know,
life now.
man. Yep, we are in the midst of the pandemic of coronavirus. As many as 48 people have died in the U.S. of this.
I've got the bug. Think of the
I don't
Always
know.
Sunny in Philadelphia when Frank tries to make that.
Yes, I was thinking.
The,
I was like, how long until we see people just fucking in their underwear, completely shaven, drenched in hand sanitizer? I just want to be pure.
That is the doctor recommended surefire way not to get coronavirus. You create a barrier of hand sanitizer around your body. Only
We've talked in the past about like keeping your skin nice and smooth by getting an oil drum of like Jergens and dunking yourself into it to prevent coronavirus. You do the same thing except fill your oil drum with Purell and just give it a good dunk.
however, apparently nowadays
morning.
that's more than the cost of a barrel of oil. Apparently,
Yeah.
Probably.
I just need to know the ancient runes that people are writing on their toilet paper to cast the wellness spells. That's what they're
Yeah.
using it for, right?
yeah.
For mass
It's gotta be.
incantations.
There's no reason that you would need to wipe your ass that much if you have the
I
coronavirus.
waited maybe 30 minutes in line at the grocery store to buy like a few things, and some of it was toilet paper, and I got up to the front and like I talked to the guy seemed relatively young, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know why the fuck I'm buying toilet paper, but everybody else is doing it, and I know when I run out in like 2 weeks I'm gonna try to come back and there's not gonna be any left. So I'm buying some now to stock up. I'm really annoyed by it. He's like, yeah, I don't know why everybody's buying toilet paper.
Bottled water is the one that confuses me the most. Like, I can understand toilet paper to a certain extent if you're going to be in the house for a while and you don't keep a lot on hand. But bottled water, they're not going to shut off running water in your fucking house, man. Like, this is not the end of days. It's a quarantine.
I mean, technically, if I really needed a shit, like, I could just drive to work, even if I'm, like, supposed to not go into work. I'm pretty sure I could still get in.
The beauty of this, at least for me, because, like, my work hasn't done anything yet. There's no working from home. There's none of that. But the beauty is that a lot of people are either working from home or voluntary quarantining themselves. So for once in my entire New Jersey living, traffic has not been terrible to and from places. That, and since Saudi Arabia has cut the price of oil to help with the coronavirus thing, gas has gotten pretty cheap too. So you know what? This is all right,
man.
This is,
You
from
know
my
what?
perspective.
I just bought stocks the other day for quite the discount.
Yeah. Market's crashing. My 401k probably lost 40% of its value. I'm too scared to look.
Just hodl. Yeah.
It's end of days. It's all good.
So, I mean, we're 3 months in here. We got, we only had We almost got World War. Now we got World Plague. We're halfway there.
Wait.
Will we get to August is the question.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Are you looking at the link I just sent you?
How?
Because I was still on toilet paper when you all talking about the economy. So what I shared with everyone on the stream here, maybe on the Discord, probably not on the Discord. It's a lota. It is an Indian bidet, old school style, aka pour it on your hand and go bear style, and then wash your hand after.
Why not just fucking shower and like pull your ass cheeks apart? Let the pressurized water do the work for you. Towel dry as
maybe not everyone has the shower, Kurt. That's why this is popularized. That's why you don't shake anyone's left hand in India, because it's their poop hand.
Isn't that kind of? Don't you find it kind of funny that like India, probably has like one of the fewer least shower to capita ratios of a developed country, yet that is where like fucking sewer systems were first developed.
It's because it was sewers. They just pump up the right from the fucking drains.
Yeah, but then again, I can also see like India, just like all their poops are probably like liquefied because of the amount of curry that they eat. So like they just need a splash of water. Like my meals are hearty. And I'm
from America. I eat beef.
I'm from America. I need a pressure washer. I can't.
If your poop doesn't shatter when it hits the bowl, you're not eating right.
If you don't hear a clink when it comes out, then you need to adjust your diet, good sir.
I've requested 3 new toilets since I moved in. I haven't been here a year. They raised my rent. They're like, dude, this is your 3rd toilet. Whatever you're eating, stop.
The toilet essentials. Just fucking toilet paper,
a jackhammer,
hand wash,
spackle.
Spackle, yes. Dry patch.
Durabond, getting them cracks.
Getting your crack.
Don't put Durabond in your crack.
The only thing that works is Tushy. Sponsored by Tushy. Not sponsored by Tushy.
If you don't have toilet paper, I can recommend going to your local Army Navy surplus and purchasing some MREs. If you eat 2 of those in one day, you will not poop for a solid week and a half.
Yeah.
So
my friend said, he said if shit hits the fan, no pun intended, he's like, I will come over with my M1 Garand and all my MREs that he has on hand, and he's like, we'll just stake it out. And if I get called to the National Guard, I'll give you my M1 Garand.
Outdoor club really different in Baltimore, isn't it?
Yeah. Man, that's not a 4-H activity that was popular in upstate New York.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, but what a weird... Ride out the apocalypse with a fucking 60-year-old rifle.
Just make a bed out of MREs, wake up, pull one out, get a little lower to the ground each week.
Oh, fuck.
All right. Well, we don't have a lot of trailers, which is why we spent so much time dicking around about the corona.
Pooping about here.
Yeah. Shooting the shit, as it were.
Tied it all together.
Yeah.
Don't tie your butthole together.
We've got, no tying your butthole together. Do not suture your butthole together. Do not put Durabond in your butthole.
That's the way to stop the coronavirus. I heard it goes up the butt.
It spread through saliva.
Jim Baker told me that.
I gotta rip out my tongue.
Pastor Jim Baker told me that. I had to close.
I heard it on Sean Hannity. It must be true.
Yeah. That guy
Joel Osteen said to draw the cross on your dick. It'll stop it coming in your house.
Let's take it back to biblical times. Just slaughter a goat and like leave it on your door to let the fucking angels know that it's not your time yet.
That guy ended up getting sued for like selling a cure for the coronavirus.
Oh, is Joel Osteen on this?
No, not Joel Osteen. Jim Baker.
Jim Baker.
He's some
Okay.
Jim Baker.
crazy pastor who would sell like end of days meal kits for like $5,000 a pop to a bunch of old people, and he's like, buy your broccoli and rice and cheese meals. Like
Uncle Ben's Ready Rice, $300 a grain,
he'd
kids.
literally sell like $5,000 buckets. He's like, and you know what you can do with a bucket after? You can poop in it. It's like, here's a toilet lid for it. Shit you not, this guy is a monster. And then he started selling
right.
coronavirus cures. So
A monster like the monsters in Jungle Cruise.
oh
And I ain't talking about The Rock.
I was like, yeah, you can do that.
This is actually, I think, the so Jungle Cruise. Yeah, it's the documentary of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson going down to his tequila farm. He's got to harvest his agave.
His little baby agaves. We actually plant corn. It acts as a grapefruit. That was like oh my God. Like tequila, really, Dwayne? That's the alcohol you want to go into business with?
Can't be like Danny DeVito and the limoncello.
Well, and
That's actually
he
drinkable.
can't go into gin because Ryan Reynolds has that market cornered.
I've tried I have a bottle of aviation gin in my fridge because I am now the gin guy, and it is very.
do. I'm sorry.
I'm the gin. It's quite bland.
Do you have 3 wishes?
No, who's,
Can you do ethereal?
I can do material, but I can't do aviation gin.
That's just too strong for me. Too strong for the chef.
It's got no like citrus botanicals, which is what I really like in a gin. I like a good London gin, and this is like it's like creamy.
What?
It's a creamy gin. It doesn't even taste like juniper.
I've never heard of a.
Kurt, you might actually like it.
Never.
I actually like Bombay Sapphire. That doesn't taste too much like juniper, at least to my taste.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it doesn't have any citrus botanicals. Is maybe the most pretentious thing I've ever heard exit your mouth, Peter.
I don't have any citrus botanicals.
By the way, Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Watch as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bumbles his way through CGI.
I am the Lion King. I was the Scorpion King, and now I'm the Lion King. I don't know. They're trying to do the Pirates of the Caribbean thing where they take one of their rides and they turn it into a movie.
Yeah, but Jungle Cruise. You know, I don't know how many of our listeners have been to Disney Land or Disney World and ridden the Jungle Cruise ride, but you go on this boat and it's like kind of on rails, but kind of not because the person actually has to do some steering, and then you go through and they tell some jokes about like the animatronics, and everyone has a good laugh, and then you get off the boat and you say, okay, let's go ride Indiana Jones again. It's not like this is like taking the like most bare bones nugget of like, yes, Jungle Cruise, and then building everything else around that idea. Yeah, this is like fucking Tomb Raider meets Pirates of the Caribbean, and other than just I don't know why they put the name Jungle Cruise on it. Like, it's not like that's one of the more popular Like, if they made a movie like in space and there was a mountain and they called it Space Mountain, I could understand because everyone knows Space Mountain, but not everyone knows Jungle Cruise.
Right. They first of all, they only put Johnson in this. They only put The Rock in this because he was in a previous Jungle-y movie in Jumanji 2. Jumanji, I guess.
Yeah. Reboot.
But like, I don't know. I'm sort of mixed on this movie. I'm not gonna go watch it. I don't have any interest in it. But this looks the color grade of this movie and the font of the title remind me of I want this in a plastic DVD clamshell or VHS clamshell, right? Sitting on my bookshelf case that you crack it open on a rainy day at summer camp and you put it into the giant TV on the fucking cart. Like, that's what that reminds me of, and I appreciate that about it.
Yeah, this will be some kid's favorite movie. Like in 20 years when they're like sitting in their dorm room smoking pot, talking about their childhood. They're gonna be like, "Man, you remember Jungle Cruise? Yeah, man, that was like my favorite movie as a kid."
I think he made a
Weird what happened to The Rock, though.
I think he made a really good comparison
After
with,
those allegations.
With it's the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's gonna be like this next generation's Pirates.
It depends on how much adventure this movie has. I feel like we haven't had a straight-on adventure film in a long time.
I mean, I guess you could say that the Jumanji movie was an adventure movie.
Okay.
That was in a video
enough.
game.
I was on the side of the video game.
I guess I'm longing for an adventure movie that's also not too much tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess
mean,
I just
feel
want the Princess Bride again. You know, fuck it.
Yeah. I mean, Sonic was a decent adventure movie.
You got that one right there, Chief. Good move.
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy the good swashbuckling adventure movie, and like this movie has a bit of my interest because it looks like it has some of the. That was a very popular genre when we were kids in the 90s. There were a lot of those like swashbuckling sort of adventure movies. They don't really do it anymore. It's maybe a cyclical thing. Maybe it's starting to come back now that we're like 30 years past and when everyone's on that 90s nostalgia. We'll see a few more of them.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't feel like this movie in particular is what I want.
Fair.
Like, you got a lot of weird stuff. Like, if it were just like, okay, like an Indiana Jones style, sort of like, all right, he's a Jungle Cruise captain. He's going to go and, you know, ferry this girl to this ancient temple. And if it were like full of like Indiana Jones style booby traps and maybe some like cultists, you know, sure. But you got like dudes with snakes coming out of their faces and like fucking rock monster men, and it's just a bridge.
Yeah, because
too far for me.
we don't know who the bad guy in this is. There's like two bad guys. There's like the zombies. I think it's
gonna be a white industrialist. Come on now, that's how these things go.
I think it's gonna face two kinds of bad guys. It's gonna face like the main guy who's chasing him down, who wants the same prize or some shit, and then the jungle itself is like an obstacle where he comes across curses and like those whatever zombie creatures that had snakes crawling out of their cheeks holes.
Will there be cat ladies who are like enchanted by the moonlight that they have in the altar underneath Zombie Island?
I hope so.
Scoop and the gang have to go find them.
I want them to do like the same kind of thing that movie did and Pirates did, where they walk through the moonlight and their
true forms are revealed.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That was still a cool scene that still holds up to this day.
That whole movie was actually like a lot better than I thought it would be. I mean, I remember liking it as a kid, but like watching it back, we're talking about Scooby-Doo, not Pirates.
I was gonna say I was talking about Pirates. So like, yeah, Pirates still holds up today.
I mean, Pirates. The first
Pirates
one
won,
holds up okay, but the other ones in the series, it's like I don't know about
it
all
fell
that.
into the whole sequel chain of unfortunate events where they try to one up themselves and it gets a little bit too crazy.
What's it? Their fifth sequel was the latest one. Then Johnny Depp's like, I'm just done.
Yeah, the
can't do
fifth
this
one
anymore.
had fucking Javier Bardem in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, as just other random pirate guy.
Another fucking
great.
pirate that's like, I'm come for Jack Sparrow's booty.
Other Davy Jones like knockoff.
I'm coming, Jack Sparrow's booty.
I'm coming in Jack Sparrow's booty. That's a different movie. I'm sure it exists,
does.
but it's different.
You know what's also a different movie? Soul.
So,
South Korea. Soul.
yeah, currently under lockdown. I don't know. It's they showed a lot more of it. We have a better grasp on what this movie's about. I don't know if that makes me want to see it more or less.
Yeah, I think me and the boys here on the cast I think we're craving like just a straight up like slice of life sort of, you know, story, like a CGI movie that's not wacky, zany, off the walls. I want like the CG version of like a Miyazaki movie, you know, of like a Studio Ghibli film where, you know, even I say that knowing that Miyazaki has fucking crazy ass spirit worlds and shit and things going on. It's all crazy all over the place. But I just want, like, when we talked about Connected, we were like, yes, family bonding trip. Sure, great. What a great idea for a CGI movie. And then, like, nope, it's Skynet now, boys. Yeah. The same thing with fucking Soul, where when the teaser came out, we were like, oh, cool. It's a dude in the city making his way as, like, a jazz musician. He got his big break, and he's got to, like, you know, learn about this new stage in his life. And, like, oh, he's a blue booger now.
Yeah,
make cowboy jokes.
I feel like this movie could have been done in a way where it is. Yeah, it's just like you can like scale down the world. I know it's a kids movie, and like the feeling the need to make everything super fantastical is, you know, comes with the territory. But I feel like you could have done a smaller story set in this beautiful city that you took a lot of time to animate.
That's probably where they put all their budget, and they're like, oh,
yeah.
We don't have anything else. We'll do black, weird pastel backgrounds for the rest of it.
Background thing, yeah.
We'll make one of the characters a scribble, and we'll just animate it in Flash like it's South Park.
Yeah. I agree with Peter where that I think I would have preferred to see this movie be like about this guy, you know, transitioning from a band teacher to a freelance musician, or like trying to balance both lives, and have it just be a more grounded story following this dude in this animated setting. And you can have your Pixar charm and stuff, but like it's not like they haven't done this before. Like The Incredibles, at least the first half of the first one was very, you know, like this is life after superhero.
Yep. Ratatouille, I think is...
Yes, that's another good one.
Because, like, yes, there's the rat and the whole thing, but, like, it's very stripped down compared to some of the crazy shit that other CGI movies have. And they use the effects to give you color and extra splash in a way that is, you know, fits it and doesn't... It's not like garish. Like when Remy eats the food, and it's like they're trying to show you what the taste of the food looks like, how he visualizes it, like synesthesia style. I like that. I want more of that. I want that like the music. I want him to have like a dream sequence where he's falling asleep, but like jazz is playing in his dreams, and he's going through. It's like Fantasia for a second. You know? Yeah. I want to see 3D fucking Fantasia. How about you do that, Disney? Fantasia 2020, get on it. You have 9 months.
Yeah, it'll only take a year to animate. You got 9 months. Let's do it.
Yeah. A lot of people are comparing this to Inside Out. And they're like,
it's kind of like Inside Out. Looks like Coco a little bit. I hate The Great Before.
Yeah.
Like, I bet they thought that was real clever too. They're like, it's The Great Before. I'm like, fuck you.
Somebody was also like,
it's the before
Pixar
life.
Pixar before,
Hooray.
fun stuff for kids. Pixar now, death. Just coming out with like death stuff like left and right.
Pixar abortion debate.
Honestly, though, it's like this. Is
oh God,
heavy.
could you imagine that? Like one of the little baby souls is falling down onto Earth, and there's like a guy at the gate. He's like, nope. Hold up, your mom aborted you. You have to go back.
You're gonna go this way to hell.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, you're going straight to hell.
Picks him up, drops him off the ledge.
It just turns right to the camera. And it's like, this is what happens
when you abort a baby.
This is what happens. Yeah, no, I don't.
And then like a fucking like it cuts to real life. It's like, call your congressman to support this bill.
Oh, Jesus. Now that's a movie I want.
Timeless classic.
It's like Songs of the South. It'll be played forever and ever and never taken off of anything. Its existence will be celebrated, not denied.
I thought writing a letter a day to Disney would make them put Song of the South on Disney Plus, but they still haven't done it yet, so I guess I'm going to have to write 2 letters a day.
Bob Iger came out and said that Songs of the South will not be added to Disney Plus. However, he is stepping down as CEO. So
now our new CEO, David Duke, has other opinions.
But no, I do think that at least, like, I think you could put a disclaimer in front of it, like they did with Whoopi Goldberg and the Looney Tunes collection.
Look,
from Warner
we
Brothers.
know this looks bad, but it's from a different time.
But there's still value in the movie. Like, as much as I joke about it, like, there's still like value and history in that movie that I think should be seen.
I mean, it was one of the earliest animated movies, right? It was partially animated, right?
Yeah, it was like one of the very first to mix live action and animation in that way.
I think that should be celebrated. And it's
And,
sort of like
you know-
non-joking. I do think so too. It's renewable.
Oh,
The new renewable energy.
We've been powered by this wonderful alternative energy called white power. Apparently, it's been powering our country for 300 years.
Oh my god.
Sully-
Like
Sully and Mike Wazowski find out that white power is better than screen power in Monsters Inc. 3. Guys, if we just be racist to kids.
My one question here is for Soul, before we finish this and we'll move on to more crazy shit. What are the chances that Tina Fey is going to be Jamie Foxx's son?
What?
Son?
Daughter. Maybe son. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, if that's what you feel inside. I don't know. I will handicap the odds. I mean, son or daughter? Unclear. Person in his life? 85% chance.
Yeah. I love it. Just they leave and it's the last 20 minutes is him like walking around the city, just like catching up with everyone. And he starts looking at random children. They like, is that her? Is that her? And they're all just like, what the fuck?
I can
he just
see
gets really
her,
weirded out.
Yeah, I can see her maybe being like a student in his class, a new student. Like, oh, this person just transferred in from such and such place, and it's like, hi, and it's like, oh my god, it's her.
And she does the stupid cowboy dance.
No, cut to the credits immediately, and then they'll do the cowboy dance as a mid-credit scene.
You're fucking right, Kurt.
Questlove.
You did it.
Questlove.
Questlove is Curly. It's the voice of Curly.
I don't know who Curly is.
Will he be? Oh, it's the Scribble guy. It's the evil Scribble guy. I fucking bet you. And he's gonna get his own goddamn musical number.
Why is Questlove going to be a bad guy? The man is of peace.
Literal last name is Love.
His first name is a question mark.
So in this movie, let me get this straight before we move on. You die, you go to the soul world. And
Well, it's like Dragon Ball Z, and our main character is basically Goku. He breaks out and he goes. He falls off a Snake Way.
Yeah, he fell off the Snake Way into the home for infinite losers.
Otherwise known as Baby Town.
Children.
Oh, okay. So all the babies are there. That's why he fell off that. He was like going to like heaven. So does he think he's gonna cheat death?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not actually dead. Like.
Well, he fell down a manhole cover.
he fell down a
So he's
manhole
like,
cover.
Yeah. Well, they show him in intensive care, and he's got a pulse.
Oh,
so.
okay, gotcha.
he's got to get his soul back.
Yeah,
And
he's gotta get
the
soul
culmination
back.
is actually he meets Satan and his cavalcade of aborted children, and they have a musical duel.
With
Oh
fiddles.
my god, I want to see
Yes.
your version of this movie now.
Devil went down to George's. How this movie ends.
It's like the end of Guitar Hero 3.
That's pretty good. I like that.
He's got a guitar made of aborted babies.
Well, why don't?
Or a fiddle.
Well, this is how it is, and why don't all coma patients just be like, "Hey, just jump off the bridge, just make your way back."
If you don't do those rips in real life, you're not gonna have the strength to fight death. The
Reps
two
for
coins they put on
Jesus.
Egyptian pharaohs' eyes when they go, it's not for the river Styx. That's for your fucking gym membership, boys.
The boatman doesn't care about coins. He's salaried.
He just needs to know if your delts are up to snuff. You've got to make that ride yourself.
He wants to know if you can help him row you.
I imagine like a team of Viking warriors just sitting in the fucking longboat, and Sharon's like, row. It's just crew team. There's it's like Genghis Khan, Abraham Lincoln, and your buddy John from fucking crew team. And he's pulling the whole squad across the river Styx.
Like no one's soul goes wherever it's going for like enough years where they can build up teams for this giant regatta. And like the top 5 finishers go to heaven, everyone else goes to hell.
They've got the last soul. They're ready for the regatta. They're preparing the race. They got to go across the river of Styx, down the river Styx.
Blumhouse,
please
get on the phone with us.
Get on the phone with us.
Swoley Ghost is there.
We have
Swoley
got my Holy Trinity right here: the Father, Son, and the Swoley Ghost.
It's the Holy Trapezius.
Oh man,
Trademarked.
We have
fun.
Trademark Saturn Studs, March 14th, 2020. Please don't steal. Original idea. Please don't steal.
Oh.
All right. What do we got up next?
We got next Black Widow trailer. Got added stuff.
Sure.
Did they?
The final trailer.
The only thing I saw that I didn't notice in the other two was Taskmaster just sitting there watching Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Or standing there, I should say.
I like Taskmasters. I think Taskmaster would be a great recurring villain, as some of the comments have said on these videos. I like how he's basically a Super Sentai hero. He's got the moves of a Sentai Ranger.
Yeah.
I'd have preferred if they had saved Taskmaster for, like Deadpool 3 or X-Force, but
they don't know where Deadpool. They're like, does Deadpool fit in the Disney brand? And Ryan Reynolds is like, have you tried aviation gin, sir?
Sir, this is a Wendy's. I don't know. I think he can. Like, just release it under one of your many other production companies, like fucking Touchstone Pictures. Is that still a thing? Like, it doesn't have to be Buena Vista or whatever. You have all these more adult-oriented properties you bought from Fox. You can't, like, rein everything in and, like, sanitize everything.
You know what they are making is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Interesting.
It's in pre-production now.
I don't forgive them for what they did to Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
You know what I didn't realize is that Taskmaster has like the Black Widow claws too. It's pretty interesting because doesn't Taskmaster like take abilities from other heroes?
He has
copy them?
He has photo reflexive memory, which means he can like copy.
See a punch, do a punch.
So he's copied Captain America. He's copied Hawkeye, or he is Hawkeye.
Yeah. The thing about it, like the interesting thing is that like when he fought Deadpool in the comics, Deadpool was so like wildly unpredictable that he couldn't be copied.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if they're gonna have to bring that into the. We're gonna have to learn from Deadpool how to be unpredictable, and then we can.
Isn't like the actual plot of this like there's a there's like the Red Room where they're mind controlling all the little
Widows.
Jennifer Lawrence femme fatale clones.
Yeah. All the
futures. The salts.
The Red Sparrows of the world.
Well, she wants to like save her quote unquote sisters, I guess, and then rescue
destroy
them.
all female spy movies forever.
Please, at least for like 20 years. There's too goddamn many of them. You can do other movies with female leads, guys. It's possible, I promise.
It's Annihilation, but no one ever saw that, so it doesn't exist.
Oh God. I hope they make
fucking
another
Arrival.
one. I want to make another Annihilation because I think it
Annihilation 2, Death Boogaloo.
Guys, but is it an alien or is it a disease or is it a magical interdimensional being?
Yes,
It's
and
the
yes.
coronavirus.
It's all of the above.
Or is it it doesn't matter because it's a thinky film. It's thinky movie, so I just take it at face value because it's a thinky movie.
Yeah. So I don't have much to say about Black Widow. I don't plan on seeing it.
I'm probably gonna see it, unless we're all quarantined from coronavirus, because this is coming out in right, in a month or so, something like that.
Yeah, well, as of now, it could get pushed back like fucking Skyfall did, or not Skyfall.
Wonder Woman 1984. It's coming soon now. They don't even know what day it's gonna be.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just gonna like wait till it blows over, and then they're gonna release it in the theaters. So there's gonna be like a big rush whenever this breaks. There's gonna be like 18 new releases.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. Maybe they'll finally be like, yeah, stream new movies from home. If one company has the balls to do that, they'll break the market wide open.
It's likely that this could lead to I mean, it's already, the theater business is already declining. That's why they've come up with like subscription based, movie ticket operations. It's possible that if this goes on long enough, this could just kill movie theaters in general. Like, they don't build new movie theaters anymore. Like, they tear them down more than anything. And like, if this like kills the summer box office, I could see that like a lot of movie theater chains going out of business.
Mm-hmm. And the small ones are probably going to be closing down for a little while.
Let us not forget the humble fucking origins of movie theaters. It was, or at least when they got big, it was a place in the 40s where you could go to watch the news and sit in an air-conditioned room for an hour. That was the fucking draw.
Yeah.
Well, they had the serials, like fucking Flash Gordon and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, you'd pay your fucking nickel, and you'd watch your 15 minutes of like Buck Rogers, and then you'd go home.
Yeah. You'd pay for a couple hours, so you watch a couple B-side films, couple fillers, little shorts, and then you watch your feature film, go home. They didn't even want popcorn in theaters when it first came out. They were like, we're gonna sell you like actual corn or some shit. Like, I don't know. I gotta remember the story
corn on
of
the cob.
Like, I gotta remember how popcorn eventually got in theaters, because it was a different. It was just, oh fuck, it's a different vibe back then.
You okay there?
Get the angry hiccups.
He's getting emotional.
Getting torn up
Got
over
those
movie
rant
theaters.
hiccups.
So I can never get really angry at people, because my voice either breaks or I start hiccuping, and I just make a fucking ass out of myself.
Yeah. So we'll see. Although, interestingly, like, we're not quite. Do we have any other trailers?
I was gonna give a quick shout out to the true history of the Kelly gang, which is the it's the embellished story of Ned Kelly and his adventures. Because Ned Kelly's a folk legend. I might actually see this movie because I know nothing about Ned Kelly. Like, even if this is absolutely like, based on a true story, no, not at all. But like, He's already a folk hero, so I might as well learn what the folk legend is.
Right.
All I know is that he's got armor, and he fucking fought the Federales in his fucking Iron Man armor, and what a lad. So that's that movie, and then you have The Witch Subversion, which is not a sequel to the Vivitch. This is a Korean horror film that is currently riding the wave of interest in Korean movies from Parasite. Yeah,
I was about to say it's going to win an Academy Award now.
They're shooting for it. So it looks like she's a normal girl in Korea, but she's got supernatural powers, and she has to. There's fighting between the government and these people with supernatural abilities, which include crazy shit, I guess. I don't know. It's gonna be. It's a little spooky. It's gonna be a little actiony. There's telekinesis and weird dreams. It's gonna be a fun time. It's better. It looks better than a fucking Blumhouse movie.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I suppose.
Hopefully it'll do well in the States.
Korean movies are better than Blumhouse.
Because Blumhouse never calls us about our ideas.
I know, if they did.
We could turn your business around, man. Just give us Jason. Pick up the phone. I'm always home. Call me anytime.
Return our calls.
'Cause I'm TNT. So interestingly, we just bandied about how the coronavirus could like destroy movie theaters as we know them. Not to be sensationalist, but that is like possible. However, the box office this week was up 8.6%. So
Everybody's going to the movies.
March 6th to the 8th of 2020, Onward, big release, probably lifted up the box office quite a bit on its own there. So that opened number one with $39 million in 40,300 theaters, with an average per theater take of $9,000, more than double the second place movie.
Yeah, seriously. It's like nobody wanted to go see that.
That's already made 78 mil worldwide off of its unlisted budget. But gotta figure it's over 100 million because they got some big time voice actors and it's an animated movie and those are expensive. Invisible Man down 46% to 15 mil. That has made $106 million worldwide off of a $7 million budget.
Yeah, it took no money. I mean,
It's made bank.
I guess they didn't. I guess it makes sense because they didn't have to animate any or CG any invisible guy because he's fucking invisible. So
Yeah, a lot of it could be they didn't have to until she dumped paint on him.
Yeah.
Which they gave away in the trailer. Like, why would you do that though?
Then they showed that it was remember those, you ever saw those cool like body rig demos that they had on Vimeo? Remember that video? You
Yeah.
ever seen that? Where it has all the different textures on the guys, he's like breakdancing around. Jake,
Yeah.
you seen that one?
yeah, no, yeah.
No, you haven't seen that one. This looks like that. Let me see,
Throw it in the chat, anyways.
let's see, CGI dancing. Let me see if I can't find the thing. Where is it? Here we go. This is the one. I can't believe I found it. I'll put it in the Saturn Studs Discord. If you watch it without whatchamacallit, sound, you still get the gist. It's like, look, someone used Blender to put all these textures on a cool breakdancer.
It's fucking hypnotic.
And that's what the Invisible Man reminds me of.
Yeah.
When they pour the paint on it. I'm sure they like got a couple guys from Method Studios when they,
Possibly.
Oh,
Paid
yeah,
him
sure.
a quick $20,000 to fucking
Yeah, just do this, but just here you have a flat coat of paint. You
yeah.
need a little bit of a shimmer effect, and he walks around. There's some liquid flowing everywhere.
It's like matte paint, so you don't need much.
Certainly not fucking thousands of little tags flying around everywhere in dynamic fashion.
No, yeah.
Like, this shit is insane.
Yeah. So in third we have The Way Back, the Ben Affleck basketball movie, which since there's some chance we review Onward, but little chance we review this, will be our spotlight film this week. It made $8.1 million in its opening weekend in a smaller release. I wouldn't call it limited, but 2,700 theaters, average per theater take of $3,000.
Did we ever
Respectable.
talk about this movie?
Yeah,
I don't remember talking about this movie.
because it's got such an unimpressive title.
Yeah, it's The Way Back.
Like it just doesn't like elicit. Oh yes, Ben Affleck coaching basketball. The Way Back, of
It
course.
sounds like a time travel movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, we gotta
So
go
Ben
the way
Affleck
back.
is a alcoholic who goes back to his hometown to coach his basketball team because he was like the best basketball player that town had ever seen, and these kids need you, Ben. And it's gotten pretty positive reviews. Rotten Tomatoes has it about 80%. IMDb 72. 7.2 out of 10. Common Sense Media 4 out of 5. 82% of Google users enjoyed this movie. So let's see why this movie was the greatest movie ever made, shall we? So we're here on the IMDb user review section. And here we have a 10 out of 10 from Warthog Jump.
Oh.
Affleck pulls it off. All caps.
Ooh. Close? Oh.
Such a film this was. Perfect in every way. Masterful direction and editing. And absolute flawless acting from Affleck. 2 exclamation points. It's a hell of an emotional roller coaster. And it is as if Affleck was destined to play Jack Cunningham. Freshly out of detox in real life, Affleck could not have been any more believable as the recovering alcoholic seeking redemption. The basketball scenes were phenomenal, and it was definitely made easy to get interested in a sport which, although may not have been the main focus of the film, it was the main medium by which Affleck sought his redemption. In fact, the results of the basketball was almost directly paralleled with Affleck's state of mind, and for this reason, as the viewer, it was even more interested to see the team succeed. The amount of backstory and emotion held back by the trailer was also refreshing. I mean, it's so obvious the film is about alcohol addiction and redemption from the outset, but there is so much more depth to Affleck's character by the end of the film. You can feel the journey with him. The film is both a beautifully written fictional story with drop-dead cinematography, and is equally a story of a man and his journey to recover from a dark place of addiction. In the film, basketball is for Cunningham, whereas acting is for Affleck. Is a poignant tale, so rarely with the opportunity to be told, and is told with such realism and attention to detail. I would highly recommend this latest drama film from Affleck. The typos, like some of them, it's like weird because like this person like clearly can write and use correct punctuation, but like they left like LYs off of certain words.
Just didn't go back to spell check it.
Yeah. 8 out of 10 found that helpful though. So
nifty.
Tell me why I'm wrong, Jake.
You're wrong. You're so wrong because Tiz and a Bob says so. In 1 out of star, the way bad.
Got him.
This movie is so incredibly bad. It starts off with horribly clunky dialogue that doesn't even deserve the label contrived. When the opening scene bears an uncanny resemblance to the room's infamous flower shop scene, you know you are headed towards trouble. Wow, that's a lot. Admittedly, the trailer screams inferior filmmaking, but I was willing to give it a chance. I thought maybe it's watchable when watching it for free and not in a theater. I was sadly mistaken. The first scene starts off with some random guy asking Affleck where his turkey is. He's like, we're at a liquor store. And no, sorry, I don't have it on me. He's like, you're a 42-year-old man with a backwards baseball cap, and why are you looking and talking like we're in a flaming pile of trash that was misidentified as a movie? They're all turkey sister's house game. Yeah, see you later.
So it's giving you trouble, Jake. I can feel it.
Everything is separated by a comma, and I'm confused why. It's like ha, comma, turkey, ha, or comma, sister's house, comma, game, comma, yeah, comma, see you, comma, later. Then he goes.
I thought like halfway through there was a list going there, but no, it's
not. I was like, what? Then he goes on to tell the clerk. Yeah, I didn't know this was like a scene by scene synopsis.
Oh my
Tell the clerk, yeah, I'll take some scratch offs. Thank you. Direct quote. The clerk's all okay. Well, I have 60 to choose from, and some isn't a number. You skis ball vomit bin worth of cringe writing. Opening scene. No one on set was like, how about instead of sounding completely retarded, how about the character says something that actually makes sense when he says it? I gave it some time. As soon as he started coaching, it got slightly better, but still had really, 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 really bad writing. All the kids were taking jabs at each other while blowing the coach, and you're like, no one talks like that, let alone 12. I was like, oh my god, just stop, and turned it off there. One redeeming quality is Affleck's acting. He almost successfully distracts you from all the bad writing, but every other actor acting alongside him isn't as talented and falls short. The directing, cinematography, editing, etc. isn't really worth commenting on because it's just simply immeasurable. It's all terrible, just terrible. Terrible is one single word that sums it up. Terrible. 0 out of 4 found this helpful. Wonder why.
You could say the review was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, I mean, okay. Well, you had problem. It looks like you had problem with one scene and just couldn't get into it and turned it off early. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you, Tizzin' Bob. Keep on reviewing.
I'll try and follow this one up. The Way Back. 7 out of 10 by Diff Guy. It's aight. Basically, every character except the protagonist is a one-dimensional stepping stone for Ben Affleck to become a better person, which I must assume is how he lives his real life now. 0 out of 0. Found this helpful.
All right. I also will pick a short one because Jake and I read 2 fucking tomes.
Well, that was the only 1-star review, so.
Oh, okay. So like try to find a 2 or 3, I guess. Okay, here's like the most basic ones. I'll tell you why it's good from Moon-83687. Stop looking for, quote, reviews, unquote, and go watch the damn thing. Watch it with a loved one. But you didn't tell me why it was good. 1 out of 1 found that helpful. I think he rated his own review.
So I picked a 3-star. The 2-star one was pretty long too, so I said screw it. Yeah. Warning, spoilers. Movie's all over the place. It has no identity. You don't even find out about the son till 45 minutes in. The sports parts of the movie are completely unnecessary. This could have been about an alcoholic former high school athlete that lived his best life, like Al Bundy in high school. Failed at life after, was an addict, saved by a woman, loses his son, and becomes an addict again. Hurts everyone around him, tries to get sober, fails, family comes together, and then does it. Should have just gave him the coaching job at the end, painful to watch. I expected like a Hoosiers. What?
Hoosiers?
I expected like a Hoosiers.
Yeah.
False advertising using the basketball thing. It's not even a subplot. Lame. Wow. So many incomplete sentences. So many short little things. Learn how to write a thing. 8 out of 21 found it helpful, though. So.
Wow.
That's nearly a third. That's over a 30% conversion rate.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess I was gonna read a long one, but
I mean, you can. We win short. So
all right.
You can go long.
Cool. I'll read a short one too. 4 out of 10 by Fordham Family. 10245. What a great username. Boozers.
Boo.
I had really high hopes for this film, but left disappointed. It's so inconsistent throughout, riddled with cliches. Affleck tries his best, but can't save this film. My recommendation: watch Hoosiers again for the 100th time instead. 1 out of 4 found this helpful. Here's the actual one I wanted to read. By Frosty Frog. 6 out of 10. Let me pull up my collar for this one. The Way Back is a film directed by Gavin O'Connor that stars Ben Affleck as a man who is suffering due to a rough past but finds a shot at redemption as his high school basketball coach. That was not him. I actually just read that one wrong.
Okay.
Ben Affleck is back, ladies and gentlemen, and as a matter of fact, he's out here, giving his performance of his career, buoyed by his own personal descent into alcoholism and ultimately finding his way back to sobriety. I could honestly write an entire paragraph about his performance. It was magnetic. Speaking of magnetism, the way back's strongest points are found when the games are at their most intense, and Affleck is directing his players and teaching them ways to improve their games. No mention of magnetism. However, aside from these two incredible strengths, the first two acts of this film still feel like the typical formulaic sports drama with supporting characters not given too much thought. That's why they're supporting characters.
Support the main character.
The third act, however, divulged into the humanity of recovery, which I enjoyed very thoroughly. And while the sports aspect of the film could be done with or without outside of the intense moments, the drama aspect ultimately holds it together. Overall, though, I enjoyed the experience a lot, especially at its heightened peaks of various emotions, and I'm very much excited to see where Ben Affleck takes his return to film from here. 0 out of 2 found this helpful.
How long was he away? Everyone's acting like Ben Affleck hadn't acted in anything in 6 years.
Was he literally just in a Netflix movie about like the?
Yeah, he was in Triple Frontier, last year.
And that movie may have been drunk, but I don't think he was drunk during that.
I don't know, maybe. Could have fooled me. Oh man, that movie sucked.
Boozers.
Boo. All right, so in fourth, Sonic the Hedgehog, 7.7 mil. Call of the Wild with our favorite animated Harrison Ford, down 6.7. Did you watch that video that we sent you, Jake?
Which one?
The Smooth song.
I don't know if I did. Wait.
All right.
Where was it in?
Well, I think we texted it to you. Emma in 6th, up from 13th. And it's in 1,500 theaters now. Plus 314%, 4.8 mil. Bad Boys for Life in its 8th week, still in the top 10. 3 million, down 35%. Out of 813 theaters. It made $203 million domestic, and another $213 million worldwide. So it made $416 million fucking dollars. Wow.
Damn. Big money bowls.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this that you just put in the chat, Peter?
This was an ad that showed up on my fucking IMDb. It's for Jesse and Nessie.
It looks like a young version of the girl from the Big Comfy Couch was taken hostage by this fucking abominable purple monster.
Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Prime Video, for sending me this fucking nightmare. There's the Google image search for if any of you are wondering.
Yeah, this is hard. Okay, so Harley Quinn Birds of Prey down in 8th, another $2 million, 983 per theater take. Oof. $197 million worldwide off of an $84.5 million budget. So it made money, but not as much money as I'm sure they were hoping. Impractical Jokers, the movie, already leaving theaters.
Amazing.
It was in a limited release, and then it was in a somewhat wide release, and now they're already shoving it out of theaters.
Why is it italicized?
I don't know, and it has like this blue highlight over its fucking like numbers.
Huh.
I
don't
yeah, there's for like since Tuesday it's had that. I'm looking at that.
Maybe it's a limited engagement sort of deal. I don't know.
It's estimated.
Oh, estimated. I see. $9.8 million worldwide so far. 100% domestic because the show has no appeal overseas. Widest release, 1,900 theaters.
Weird.
And
There
lastly, My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising drops to 10th. I will like to point out that Dragon Ball Super Broly was in the top 10 for like 4 weeks. So,
yep.
Suck it, My Hero Academia.
Suck it. quick shout out to Boggy 3 dropping. I saw the trailer for Boggy 3. It looks fucking. We all saw the trailer for that. I think that was on an episode of Trey Watch. This was that movie, and I mean, sure, dog.
A man embarks on a bloody rampage to save his kidnapped brother.
Let me see if it's on. I want to see. I'm gonna check Fandango to see if it's
featuring
if it's
Indian,
anywhere near me.
Yeah, Indian fucking Ryan Reynolds here.
It made more money domestic than it did international. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
That there's more Indians in the U.S. than there are in the India?
That doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't.
There's a showing at 10 o'clock tonight.
For Boggy.
It's what? Is it like? I think it's like 3 hours long.
Jesus Christ.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Why?
Okay, 2 hours, 20 minutes. Because it's an Indian movie. Indian movies are fucking 2 to 3 hours long, always.
Every death scene is played out.
It's just I think, from what I remember from my world music class, that's how their concerts are, too. They're all like 2-3 hours long. And they just go. That's just how it is. You just jam-pack your fucking event with shit. And everyone just hangs out for a long time.
Sounds like the country.
It has a 20% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 68% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not a great audience score. All right. Well, that's that.
I guess.
Boggy 3.
I guess in more movie news, because I am seeing this down here at number 26, we have Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is coming to Disney Plus on Sunday.
Yes.
So
they're dropping like a bunch of months early.
Yeah. We're dropping it a month early.
Because your kids are going to be home from school, so they'll fucking watch it all day.
Take your laptop to the movie theater, watch it in the movie theater while you're watching on your laptop.
Like you did it with Black Panther.
Exactly.
Oh, man. In gaming news, also in podcast news, there will be no E3 episode this year because there will be no E3 this year.
I
think the E3 episode is the more important.
I mean, obviously, that's what people
care about.
Get excited about. They don't care about the conference. No one goes to the conference. They all come to fucking our studio.
I'm just upset that I'm not going to get a cringe compilation.
Yeah,
I mean, companies being like, well, we worked really hard on this game, guys. You all have phones, right?
You won't have too many fucking like awkward celebrity cameos. Pretty much every company has said that they will like make a digital presentation to consumers directly via like YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that.
It's just the guy in his fucking like room. He's recording himself on his Skype camera. Yeah, so we're releasing the Xbox later this month. It's gonna be pretty cool.
The Devolver Digital, their Devolver Directs have been one of the highlights of E3 the past 3 years with their zany, off-the-wall presentation. That will still be happening. They'll be streaming it directly there, so that's what I care about. Although, like, the interesting thing about this is this cancellation comes at a time where the importance of E3 has been in doubt for a while. Like, people being like, do we really need E3? Because it hasn't been as big a deal. You've had like Sony pulling out of E3 the past couple years. So like Nintendo doesn't bring as much anymore because they do the Nintendo Directs. So this could be the last E3. The coronavirus could have a similar effect on E3 that it might have on American movie theater business, where it could deal a blow that it cannot recover from.
Well, who puts on E3?
The convention organizers.
I mean, like, I just don't know who's behind it all. I guess directing it.
The ESA, I guess, which stands for something.
Electronics.
ESA, it's in the game.
Electronic Sports Administration or something, maybe?
The ESRB.
Electronic Software Entertainment Software Association.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cool.
And E3 is the Electronics Entertainment Expo.
Well, I'm wondering if Microsoft or somebody is like, if they have to pay to get there, or if they get paid to come to give their presentation.
I think you
They
have to
probably
pay. It's like any other convention, really, where you pay for your like time in your booth, and it's a way to present like to the media or like to like potential customers, like at the Glass conference. You know, all those companies had their booths there, and we went up and we talked to them about stuff, and then we asked that one guy how his new refractory business was taking off, and he's like, it's slow. Very solemnly, and we're like, oh shit, man, sorry.
Our sales guy was at a recent conference, and because of coronavirus, there's like 25% of the attendees were there. No booths on the second day. They were the only one.
Wow. I mean, like, because if you look at it from a business standpoint, like, is it costing companies like Microsoft and etc. just more money to go to E3? Because, I mean, you can argue, it's going to be publicized like crazy, but are they going to get the same results if they do their own thing, announce their own thing, and then that just spreads over time?
Well, that's what we're going to have to find out. Is it going to be as effective? I suspect that it will.
Yeah.
The real shame here, and like this is the same thing with like South by Southwest and the Game Developers Conference, like these events inject a tremendous amount of money into local economies. Like WrestleMania 2, like, you know, Tampa, like that's a lot of money. If they don't run it there, or like it gets pushed back, like that's a lot of money that they lost. Like I heard on NPR that South by Southwest was going to inject $350 million into the Austin economy, and that's just gone now. Like that ain't coming back.
Jeez.
Yeah, these conventions are big business for the cities that host them, because you know, hotel business is increased, restaurant business is increased. It's a big deal, and like the cities obviously want to keep the conventions going, but like the attendees like don't think it's financially feasible. Then they're not going to go.
Metric fuck ton of people who go to these things, and I mean I've been to small conventions, and it's like PAX Unplugged, and that I consider that a smaller convention, and still that's, you know, packed
like
tremendously.
Comic-Con, remember when Comic-Con was like a small convention for like just like the really hardcore nerdy people, and now it's like the fucking pop culture extravaganza of the year.
Yep.
And it's split off where you have like Comic-Con, like OG Comic-Con in San Diego, and then Comic-Con NYC and Comic-Con Boston, and all these fucking different spin-offs. It's
TEDx. The TEDx of Comic-Con.
TEDx.
I guess in related news also, this while we're talking about gaming companies, Bill Gates stepped off of Microsoft.
What?
No, I mean he'd been like just a board role for a while now.
But I think he made it a more concrete step. Let me double check, because that was a big headline today.
Yeah, I mean it's still news, but like Bill Gates hasn't had a hand in what Microsoft has been doing for a couple of decades now.
Oh sure, yeah. But he's finally stepped down from the actual board, so he's not actually like on it anymore.
Right.
I don't know if that's a way to like.
He's just gonna become.
He'll just take his fucking, you know, billions of dollars with him and peace out.
Yeah. He said he's jumping. He's just gonna go full on philanthropy.
Yeah, good for him.
Sure.
Full on rapist.
Full on rapist.
I love this article. Oh god. So this article, which I don't believe. Okay. All right. There's a second part to it. I would not peg this in more than 1,000 words. But so the last couple paragraphs of the first half of this was Mr. Gates is listed by Forbes as the second world's richest man after Jeff Bezos, worth whatever. He made his fortune developing software for the personal computer. That was that sentence.
Yeah.
True.
He did.
Very good.
It's a little thing called the PC.
It's called Windows. It runs most of the world. Well, actually, I guess you could argue that Linux runs most of the world because most server stuff is Linux.
The very next fucking line. More on Bill Gates, and it links to some other articles. Bill Gates brandishes poo to showcase reinvented toilet tech.
What the fuck?
Well, that's certainly clickbait that would get me.
Clickbaiting. I'm clickbaiting right here, boys. Here we go. There's your clickbait article.
All right. I will check that out.
I wonder if we're going to see a lot of...
It's him pointing to a poo.
No, I recognize this scene from Batman v Superman.
It's just peach tea.
I wonder if we're going to see a lot of like sales go up in Steam now, because I mean now you have so many people home from school.
Well, interesting you mentioned that, Jake, because that transitions into another story I'd like to talk about, where that housebound Italian kids are straining fucking Epic Games' servers because they're home all day playing Fortnite.
Oh. He's frozen.
You guys, like, can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, you guys froze
We
for
lost
me
you for a
too.
second.
Like, I had a couple hiccups as well.
Yeah, we were waiting on bated breath. We're like, what is he gonna say?
So, housebound Italian kids, Fortnite, strained servers because they're home all day playing.
Wow, that's interesting.
Streaming on Netflix and other video platforms will be growing as well as people avoid crowded places. That's like the one stock. Netflix and Domino's are the two stocks that are going up right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Netflix didn't get hit as hard as everybody else did.
Yeah. All right. So, what you call it? Night Dive Studios, the studio that is responsible for the upcoming System Shock remake, is also polishing up another classic video game this year, and that is Westwood Studios' 1997 classic Blade Runner. It is a remaster rather than a remake, but it's nice to see. This is one of those games that, like, you don't hear so much about, but it's like the definition of a cult classic. It's widely considered to be one of the better games of that year, and that was a year where you had games like Fallout come out, and it was a pretty good year for gaming, 1997 all around. Ocarina of Time was a year old. Yeah, that it was a pretty big year for that. Pretty big year. The Enhanced Edition, Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, is due out on Steam in 2020. You should check out why you need to play. Oh, there's an article on PC Gamer about why you need to play Blade Runner. I'll check it out. I actually, they saw that they have like Blade Runner: The Final Cut on Netflix, and I'm gonna check that out because I think I've only seen the theatrical cut of Blade Runner, and I don't remember like anything about it. So,
yeah,
it's another one with our man Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Oh, I think on Steam, Borderlands 3 is also finally out.
Yes, that's. Thank you for reminding me.
Cool.
Borderlands 3 is now available on Steam. Not an enhanced edition, not a Game of the Year edition or anything like that. Just the regular base game. Still need to buy all the DLCs. Still probably going to have all the like weirdness with like how hotfixes are not always applied when you logged in. like no like solid patching. But if you've been waiting for it to arrive on Steam because you just hate Epic Games that much, there you go. It's out now. You can finally play the game that we've been playing for 6 months.
COD Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone has finally released, and they took an interesting route with this one. So they kind of took a page out of Fortnite's book, and they made it free for everybody. So if you don't have Modern Warfare, you don't want to spend I don't know what it is now, it's maybe like $40 or something like that, to buy Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you can just get Warzone for free, or you can download, I guess, the launcher. I don't know how the fuck that works, but you must be able to just download the launcher for it and then get Warzone. And that is a new battle royale game. People were suspecting it for quite a while. I think they announced that they were coming out with a battle royale game. And
now, did they include a battle royale mode in their more recent Call of Duties, or was that like something that was left off and turned into this? I can't remember.
So when they came out with Black Ops 4 or something like that, yeah,
4,
Black
I
Ops
think,
4.
yeah.
They did have a mode. I think that I don't know if it released when they released Black Ops 4, but they did make a mode called I think Blackout.
Yeah, that name was in my mind for some reason.
Yeah, so Blackout was the last Call of Duty branded battle royale, and I think it hit off pretty popular for a little while, but it had a pretty steep decline once it. I just don't think they added enough material to it, and people got bored of it pretty fast. I mean, it brought a lot of interesting stuff that not a lot of other battle royales had, including like flying vehicles, some of the newer cars, newer guns. They had a zombie mode to it, but Warzone brings a couple new things to the table, including kill streaks. They have a really interesting revive system called the Gulag, where if it's before...
You have to put goo on your log?
If it's before 18 minutes into the match, and there's 150 people, mind you, not 100 or not 75 like in Apex, so it's double the size of Apex Legends. The map is about the size of PUBG, if you've played any of those games. And if you die within 18 minutes and it's your first death, you get sent to the Gulag. And then you have to fight with a gun or fist-to-fist, more like a gun, in a bathroom, 1v1 against somebody else. And then whoever wins gets to go back to the map, and you can rejoin your team.
Interesting.
Other ways are you can buy your team members back if they die for a decent amount of money.
Kind of makes me think of Capture the Flag. And did you guys have wooden playgrounds in school?
Yeah, we had some.
Yeah.
Some of our playgrounds were wood.
Yeah.
Were those the best ones for Capture the Flag or what?
I think so.
Yeah. The woods were great too.
Yep. But we had our wood playground was evenly divided, with a fucking Wild West alley down the middle, which was the perfect line because you would put the Capture the flags on either end of the playground, and there was plenty of verticality, so you could run up and down, under and over. The jails were actual fucking towers that were pretty close to the line, so you didn't have to go deep in to grab your friends out, but you had to climb upstairs.
Right.
So you could see it. It was very nice, but fucking. The biggest issue with Capture the Flag was goose guarding. That was... People got pissed. Yeah. That was controversy right there. That's offsides.
Goose guarding is a controversy on par with abortion in some states.
Yeah, climate change denial. Fucking
and flat Earth society, anti-vaxxers, all of that. Goose guarding is right up there with those. With some circles, I wish there were adult Capture the Flag leagues. I wish that were a more prominent thing.
They have adult tag.
Yeah, get a Facebook group together. Those fucking stupid commercials. The one with the kazoos annoys me. So.
That sucks.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, I mean, there's other than there being more people on a big map, and having kill streaks, I think it doesn't bring all that much innovation to the genre. I've harped on this before. I think in order to beat Fortnite, in order to be any sort of competition to them, they really need to come out with more content, new content on a regular basis, and keep things fresh and intriguing. That's part of the reason why Apex Legends has been popular. They come out with new characters, they come out with new guns, new maps every year. So we'll see how it goes. This is probably going to last longer than Blackout, but it will die off pretty fast, I guess.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, I guess that's the major story. The only other thing I had is 2K is getting the right to develop another football game with the NFL license, but it can't be.
But not a football game.
Yeah, it can't be a simulation. It has to be more arcadey, I guess.
I don't even know how that football battle royale.
Well, NFL Blitz, I think, is probably something that you're gonna see. They could still get like the XFL license and develop a football game.
Yeah.
For that, we shall see. Just like we saw Castlevania.
Yes, we shall.
Yeah, we saw.
All right.
That.
That's it.
Feature
Feature
time.
This week,
Feature creatures.
I think we mentioned it last week, but we're gonna be doing. We all watched Castlevania.
Castlevania.
And I think that. Okay. All right. We're back. Are we back?
Oh. We
geez.
watched season 3. Comes after season 2.
Yeah.
As you think.
Yeah, it sure does.
This will be interesting to hear the recording to see if we're all talking over Kurt.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like saying things and then like stop. So what's happening is like our fucking Discord is like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And we're like freezing up and like we're trying to navigate this as smoothly as possible.
But somehow Peter and I are still synced up, and Kurt's the only one getting left out.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Coronavirus is in the air down there. It's on the Wi-Fi.
Coronavirus is infected. It's canceling the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's all right. Kurt's in his separate character arc that has nothing to do with our story.
Yeah.
It won't have any payoff.
Yeah.
Watch out for the 2 Asians, Kurt.
I'm basically Isaac.
What
the heck was that?
I did not like.
That was bizarre. So
I don't.
can we do like a?
This season was a fucking it was like a building season, like in soccer or like sports where you have like it's a team building season. Like you're not gonna win any championships. They're just like here's a bunch of shit.
This season,
in the meantime,
was an attempt to build a universe where this series can continue outside of anything related to Dracula or the Castlevania games, and I did not like it. I don't really care for the show anymore. I thought it was weird. Like it just the tone does not match the setting. The diction being modern diction.
I hated that.
Like,
yep, I
that's
agree.
bugged me the entire series, but it was the worst in this fucking series, I felt. And just like the jokes that none of them landed, and I no longer care for this show, and I don't think that unless I get bullied into it, I don't think we will review season 4. I like season 1. Season 2 disappointed me. I was like, okay, we'll see what season 3 has. And then it was this. Like, the only thing this has going for it is that sometimes the action is pretty good, but they save that all for, like, the last 2 or 3 episodes.
They put it in one episode.
Yeah.
They're like, you can only have sex and violence in one episode. And they're like, all right, we'll just put it all in there,
There'll
sure.
literally be, like, a warning for, like, language, sex, violence, nudity, like, all this stuff. And then there's none of that in an episode, and then it starts... He has this, like, 40-minute conversation with a night creature and Isaac, and Isaac just talks to a pirate and then kills some people. And it's like, God.
The frustrating thing about Isaac's arc is that, like, there's no progress in it. It's like he starts off thinking humans need to be killed, and then he meets a couple nice humans, and then he runs into some other humans that, like, understandably are fearful of him and his gang of night creatures, and he, like, can't, like, understand their perspective. He's like, humans suck, and he kills them all again. No progress was made.
It's because they're terrified of your hell creatures, your hell fucking spawn. Like, yeah, of course they're not going to let you walk through their city because you want to kill all humans, and like
you want
to
want them to take you on your word that your gaggle of night creatures isn't going to kill anyone.
I think we should say spoilers right here. I think our feelings on this season are fairly evident. Jake, you said this slaps for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that before we just delve into shitting on this show without you getting a word in edgewise here?
I was more joking just to be the contrarian.
Okay.
So you were being Jake, yeah, okay.
However, I did like some parts of it, including the second to last episode. Don't watch it with your mom and dad, or maybe
really. Oh no, I thought that was
that slap
hot doo doo, but
that episode slapped cheeks if you know what I mean.
All right.
All right, we'll talk about it in a second here. I have particular issue with that episode. In particular, I'm gonna go on a rant right after we fucking say
I'll
spoilers.
tell you why I liked it.
So we say spoilers.
Spoilers.
There ain't no fucking tomatoes, ain't no goddamn salads in goddamn medieval Europe, alright? No one figured out what the fucking tomato was till they went to America, and even then they only sold it to peasants. They thought that shit was night crawlers. Get your shit right, Castlevania. No one's serving soup and salad at a fucking brunch in northern Poland under the reign of the kings.
That was not your objection that I thought you would have. But,
That was your problem?
yeah.
That was my first
There was
problem.
a lot wrong with that scene. Like, fucking... I could get Hector and Lenore fucking, because that was, like, clearly building to that throughout the season with
their
subtext.
whole weird pet play arc. I don't know if I don't know if it's good. I certainly don't like it myself. It's not my cup of tea. That's weird and shit. I don't know if it's good or not though, because I'm like, this is just makes me fucking uncomfortable.
Like it's kind of weird to see, and like they did the same thing. Like they did the same like line almost with Carmilla in the last season. Where like they put the fucking collar on, it's like, you're my pet now. It's like, it's the same fucking thing.
Is this for the Is this for the fandom? Like, is there the Castlevania Tumblr people like they were with Voltron, where they're like shipping shit?
Maybe. I don't know. Lenore didn't exist.
There's weird vampire. There's weird vampire Rule 34 out there of Hector and fucking bondage gear. I goddamn know it.
Well, fucking yeah. Like I don't know. Like this and like were the Japanese ones, were they related?
Yes, they're twins.
All right, that's fucking gross then. I couldn't remember if they were related or not.
But they didn't touch each other. They were just naked around each other, sucking a vampire.
You had a fucking threesome with the vampire. I didn't know. I didn't know even
Alucard was
ask
like,
if Alucard like swung both ways. They just assumed it's like, okay, we're all having sex now.
That was such a fucking
3 feet apart because we're siblings.
That was so fucking uncomfortable to watch, and I was by myself.
Yeah, I was like, I saw the girl come up to him. I saw the girl come up to him. I'm like, okay, all right, this is happening. And then like her brother's there too. I'm like, oh, whoa, no, you two are siblings. Don't fuck together.
Also,
almost would be.
They're shitty pissy gold diggers that Galacard had to keep his fucking pimp sword strong.
Yeah, they like
that was an awful payoff to that.
Yeah,
arc.
it was like so terrible.
I kind of like.
And there was but there's like no reason for it though.
Jake, give us your move.
I like it because I like where they're taking Alucard's like story. He put a lot of effort into helping these twins and showing them compassion, feeding them, trying to show them his ways, and they got sort of greedy, and they got impatient with him because he was taking his time. He wasn't showing magic, so they fucking turned on him because he wasn't moving fast enough. He wasn't showing them magic fast enough and training them to kill a vampire fast enough. So they took it into their own time to just fucking kill him? Like,
so are you saying...
All right, I agree with you there, Nick. I agree with you there.
A crazy turnaround, and it shows Alucard that if these humans are like this, it's going to slowly start to turn him more into his father. And I think that's the direction they might be going with him, is turning him more towards Dracula, where he hates humanity.
I have a big problem with that, though, because that is like counter to everything that Alucard's character is throughout several centuries in the Castlevania canon. Like, he is the anti-Dracula in every fucking way. Like, you know, fucking he's in Castlevania 3, and that's like in the 1300s. And then when the 1600s roll around, he's helping Richter fucking kill Dracula again. He hates his father. He doesn't like have a strong relationship with humans or anything, but like, you know, he's not gonna turn into his dad. Like, he shouldn't turn into his dad.
And I don't think he should either. But this would be great character development and great character inner conflict if he's constantly reminded in his head that he has this secret detest for humans, or he can see himself like turning that way. He's like, I can see why my dad hated humans, because I just had these two people who I showed nothing but compassion towards fucking turn on me and torture me and do this heinous thing. We see him crying at the end because he was almost like
You also see him crying when he nuts.
Yeah, kind of raped a little bit. I mean, that scene was really uncomfortable to the point where, like,
because they played the fucking battle music over all the sex scenes in that episode.
I like the episode how they did it in general, because it was a real. I like the whole dichotomy between that gore violence, that battle scenes that were happening with Isaac and the Belmont and Cypher. And then you have these two passionate sex scenes between Alucard, the twins, and then Hector and Lenore. You had this great shift between the two, and I think they did the pacing of the episode and the shot by shot. It was a little unnerving, I think, how much they showed of the sex scenes and how deep they went with it, but
yeah.
It just kind of.
That did not work for me at all.
It felt out of place. It really did. Like the explicit, like imply they have sex or like show a little, sure, but like the explicitness of it and like interspersing it with the fucking battles, like they're just completely different. And like you can do the different things, like show like the different things going on. That's not my problem. But the problem is like they played the same music under it. They were like trying to like underscore them as like the same. It was like, no.
Right.
No.
And then they were trying to play it off like it was a surprise when Lenore fucking made a blood pact with Hector. Even though, like, I didn't even know how she was going to do it. But I'm like, all right, she's been honeypotting him all this whole time. And they're finally getting intimate. And then she asks him about shit. And if I'm not even a magical guy. I know enough about magical lore that when I hear a dark, like, lord ask me for your loyalty, that shit isn't just words. You're going to put some magic in that shit. I gotta
say, if you're gonna have some pillow talk with somebody, that's some hot-ass pillow talk, not gonna lie. You vow your soul to them, and bond yourself to them. Yeah, maybe not the ring thing that, puts a curse on you and makes them your slave, but like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna tell my bitch to vow her soul to me.
The payoff would have been like, I would have been okay with the payoff, and they didn't do this, and it pissed me off. It's like if she gave her sisters the rings, and they also indebted them to her, like if it was a big power play. That would have been an interesting turn in the story, but it's like, nope, it went exactly the way you thought it'd go.
Honestly, that's what I thought it would too. Instead, it was just like, here's your mind control helmet. Wear this to
Let's all but cock this boy. Everyone gets a leash.
Everybody has to fuck him first, though.
Yeah.
Actually, you're not doing the fucking. They are.
Put it on the Buru.
I mean, the town with the judge and the Trevor and the Sypha and the punji pit at the end with like the little kid's shoes he was stealing.
Turns out he was an asshole the whole time, guys. Yeah. Don't worry that he died because he was an asshole.
It's like, what was the point of that?
I mean, I already didn't like him. He was just like, he just seemed like he was that arrogant asshole who was trying to run these jerks out of his town.
Being an authoritarian, and like when I thought he like showed a little bit of humanity when he told the kid about the apple tree, but then like it's like, oh no, he was just a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
And they did set it up where the next scene he's like fucking wiping his face and he's like sweaty. I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Does he have a condition? You have like are you a secret demon, Judge? Because he's like,
yeah, but why would he walk out of that room like all sweaty? That's what I don't understand. It's just
because that's where he put the kid's shoes on the new shelf, and he's like, he probably jerked off.
That's what I'm wondering.
I
wouldn't doubt it.
Little fucking thing. I don't know. Like this whole season was just like, how much weird shit can we put in this with it still like feeling like Castlevania?
I did like Saint Germain and that scene with the infinite corridor. That was like, that was some. Because as you know, I'm all about the weird shit.
I generally like Saint Germain. I thought he was one of the more interesting characters. I kind of liked the Priory and like the whole thing going on there with like how they were like tricked into like worshiping the fucking night creatures.
Really like that, and how they were. I think this was really symbolic here when they were trying to get back Dracula, when the night creature was trying to bring back Dracula, and they were right about to bring him back, and then they close the door on him. And I think that's how the rest of this series is going to go. I think this is them closing the door on Dracula in general, and then they're going to bring up new villains, these new vampires.
Well, they got to fight the vampire lords at some point.
I mean, I'm sure that's coming in the next season. The thing about it, though, is like when they went to bring back Dracula, he was there with his wife. He didn't look like he wanted to go back. Like, that was what he wanted. He wanted to be back with his... That's why he let Alucard kill him, basically, in the last season.
And they have a pretty good place in hell, all things considered. It's a flat area of stone.
They didn't really explain it. I also...
Because the show isn't written particularly well.
Why would his wife be in hell, though?
Because the show isn't written.
Because she was a witch. I mean, right? She was a witch in that she did science, and they're playing because they always play the church.
Although
in this,
the whole thing, though,
series to be fucking just the worst.
Like with the Pope of Greshit or the Bishop of Greshit in season 1, when the night creatures like came to him, and like, my God will protect me. Like, your God hates you, and like burning her was like his call. So like, does God also hate her? Like, it just there's no consistency in it. There
were cherubim or seraphim coming through the fucking hell gate. So apparently seraphim are creatures of hell.
The wing boys. That was really cool.
Those are the wing boys with the 6 wings. Canonically, they're supposed to have one pair of wings covering their balls too, but they didn't do that one. I mean, the old school order of angels is some crazy shit. I like the fucking the wheels. The wheel angels are some good shit. They're the ones that are the weirdest. But yeah, like there's like 10 orders. Old school angel is some crazy shit. There's like 10 orders of them. It's way out there. But the first fight was like it took them a while to kill this guy, and then and then the next episode they're like ripping through him like not paper, but like a nice construction paper. It takes a little bit of effort.
They learned how to kill them.
1v3. Yeah, I guess it's kind of similar to like in a game. Yeah, to figure out how to where their weak spot is, and it's apparently their knees.
That was like the least of my problems with the season. Like, I mean, like I said, they do the action and the violence very well. But that's like the only thing they do well, and they save it all for the last episode. So you slog through 4 hours of just like bullshit I couldn't bring myself to care about to get rewarded, quote unquote, with actions, and then they like punctuate it with like stupid developments in their character arcs, which I didn't care about enough. Like, I didn't really care about them, but like the turns they took in them still made me mad. I was like, this is so fucking dumb.
Yeah. I will say that I did like the second half of Isaac's arc just for the raw aesthetics of it. Like, I want this to be its own thing that isn't a side story. I like the idea of a necromancer riding with this dread horde through this fucking wasteland, and he has to fight a fucking magician. When he fought Legion, that was I like that fucking fight scene.
The fucking World War Z fucking ball of people.
Well, that's an actual Castlevania boss. It's Legion.
Oh, I guess I didn't play that one. Which one was that from?
I think that's Symphony of the Night. I think it recurs in quite a few.
I don't remember.
Castlevania Legion boss. Yes. Here's a screenshot. Maybe it's Symphony of the Night. Here's one from the Saturn edition. As I recall, it's fairly tough as well.
Okay, yeah. Oh no, that's I think that's Rondo of Blood. Or maybe it's Symphony of the Night with the Richter mod enabled.
Maybe, but it's a fairly popular boss. I think it's been in a few.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, it looks a little bit different. I guess that's why I didn't immediately recognize it.
I was like, oh, it's a ball of people. Cool, must be Legion. Fuck.
I think I fell asleep during an episode
it's
or
just
something
my
like that, and I missed where he was talking about going to this place of zombies. and it kind of just rolled
Yeah,
up
'cause
on
I-
them, and I was
Well,
like,
she
oh,
just-
this is new.
I like
he
that.
just shows up. Well, I mean, like even like he just kind of shows up, like he's on his way to find Hector to exact his revenge, and then he gets
Sidetracked?
like sidetracked, I guess, and he has to fight this magician. Like I thought that was going to come to the head in this season. It just felt like this season was like
Didn't
walking in place for the most part.
Isaac's arc should have been the first 2 episodes of a series about him, like, or at least when he lands in Europe, because like I like that scene with him and the demon where he's just like they're talking over the fire, partially because up to that point there'd been a lot of fucking stupid dialogue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, and he's just having a straight on conversation. And Isaac was one of my favorite characters from last season too, because as you know, I am a fan of extremely competent characters, be they on the good side or the bad side.
Yeah, I don't dislike Isaac as a character as much. I liked him in season 2. I enjoyed both Forge Masters in season 2 a bit. Isaac was a neat character, but they just don't do anything with him. Like they're afraid to have his character progress to any meaningful point.
Yeah.
Or they're either unwilling or incapable of creating
How about the
significant
vampire
character
lords?
development.
How did you like all the sisters, all the female vampire lords? They what an
tried
awful
and
villain
failed.
for like I guess you could assume that's like kind of the
Yeah.
overarching villain for this season because it's kind of like looming in the background. They're preparing and they're getting ready to like take over the world, but they're like, we're a year out, and how are we gonna eat? How are we gonna feed? Just fucking do half of it. I don't know. Turn half into
Like slowly roll out, like acquire territory over a long period of time.
Like another certain very powerful
didn't they say
vampire
like
lord did.
towards the end they're like, we can just buy mercenaries instead, and they're just like, well then you don't even fucking need after that.
They just-
Like, I didn't understand where they were going, and then she's like,
They don't understand where they're going, but they don't show that it's like, see, how I would write this. Here's how I write this, because I saw one scene that like wrapped it up for me that I was like, oh, they're just actually making this a wrong show. And that was so it's the beginning of the episode and they're all in the drawing room. It's like late in the day. And Sturga's up, she's drawing battle plans.
She's like,
and Marana comes in. She comes in, and I thought this was going to be like honey, you're working too late. You need to focus on us. It's our relationship or whatever. She's like, no, I have to be practical and be a real fucking masculine woman about this. But no, like they don't have like the emotional versus practical kind of pull. She's just like, don't worry, I'm going to expose the plot for about 10 minutes here and explain away all the questions you, the viewer, might have about every detail of our plans. That'll put you at ease. And then Carmela comes in, and I thought, I would want this to be set up as Sturga and Carmela they're pulling at different moves, because Sturga's very practical and down to earth, and Carmela's got her fucking head in the clouds and is like zany on adventures. Right. She's like, I've got the latest plan, and Morana's trying to like be the mediating factor. Right? And then you have internal tension among your villains. This is very standard fucking, like, intrigue, political, like, triangle writing.
They did try to do that in season 2, and it did not work. So, I don't know. They're just not competent enough, I guess, to write that creatively, because their characters don't have a lot of depth. They're fairly face value. For the most part. I mean, like you could say Trevor and Sypha have a bit more depth than your other characters, because they show other sides of their personality.
They're also more the main character.
But like
they're like they should
they
have
are.
that.
Like
they're treating their
yes, the show would be much
they're
worse.
Treating their the villains,
didn't
at least
do that.
these new villains, as more side characters. And I think season 3 was definitely the time for them to treat them as the main villain.
What they did with Dracula, establishing a very sympathetic side to him in the beginning before showing his cruelty, that's a good way to create a villain with some depth. They have not done that since. And I think they just kind of fell ass backwards into that because that was how they set up his motivation for attacking humanity. It just happened to be a fairly sympathetic motivation. But they have made no effort to create similar depth to any of their other characters, hero or villain.
The only vampire there in depth would be Lenore, but that's because she's only because she's had more screen time, and at that point it's just like, okay, well, she had a plot to make Hector his pet, manipulative, which was very transparent from the get go. It was like she was like, oh, yes. I'm gonna do quid pro quo. I do this, you give me the stuff, and then diplomacy, compromise and shit like that.
And then I get impeached.
And then
notice how she didn't actually like show up in any of the scenes with the other three sisters, because they were like, she needs her individual. She shows up a little bit, like twice with when they're on screen.
So I just thought the reason for that was because maybe they tasked her to get Hector to go to be on their side, and she's like, okay, well, I got to spend some time doing this. You guys spend the time, doing the battle plans and doing all the minor stuff. I'll work on getting our Forge Master. Yeah, I'll lay the honey pot.
I'll lay the honey pot.
All right, well, yeah, it's very transparent what you're trying to do. I guess it worked, so.
It was so transparent, I actually thought that she was going to pull a fucking curveball.
Yeah, that with the fucking power play. I was like, they have to do something with this. It can't be that, blasé. But then it was.
Maybe they're saving it, and maybe she's pulling a fast one over on them, and maybe the night creatures won't obey them because of the rings. And then maybe she's waiting for having a night creature army that she's going to have to combat the sisters or the girls.
But then you kind of lose the intrigue, though, because you have to set the hook for the next season. What's the hook for the next season?
There was none.
Like, this ends with just Trevor Belmont being like, we spent a few weeks living your life, now we're living mine.
What the fuck does that mean? Like,
I don't care.
Yeah, I guess
means life's gonna
really
suck now
about stuff, and they're gonna. What I'm assuming is gonna happen is
bad things are gonna happen. Well, I should hope so. That's part of this.
What
TV
I think
show.
he meant by that is that, wow, we just came across some really fucking heavy shit. The guy who we were trying to help was killing kids. We lost, a good friend, a guy who we were starting to come around to and like, and a bunch of innocent people just fucking up and died. In this fire, and we didn't see it, and it was right under our nose. So that's pretty fucking heavy. And she honestly seemed depressed. Cypher did. Belmont kind of returned to where he was in season 1,
because this was all a game. To her.
This was all a game. Yeah. She was all adventuring. Yeah, they were going around
Scooby-Doo Mystery Adventures
and having a blast. In the beginning, her transition from episode 1 to episode 10 was really like a 180. Where she,
but they didn't have, I don't know. I guess they never really gave her a lot of dialogue to show the sobering effects of it wasn't a gradual transition. It was Sypha is Sypha right up until sobriety hits, and she's like, oh no, everything sucks.
It was
now.
really that judge finding out the judge was this evil person was really that turning point where she realized the world was shit, and she was having a blast, she was having a good time helping this town, being with Belmont, and then this happens, and it's I think she's gonna fall into a depression, and I think she's gonna be where Jason was in episode 1 or the season 1, where she's
Trevor.
Why did I think Jason? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know of a Jason Belmont unless that's one of the newer games.
Why did I think Jason? Anyway,
Jason Blum, because I told Jason Blum to call
That's why I was calling him Belmont, because I was like, it's not Jason. So Belmont, Trevor, I think she's going to be where he was kind of in season 1, in season 4, if they do a season 4. Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people didn't like this.
Netflix has a habit of canceling shows after 3 seasons, and I mean, this has been in the top 10 on Netflix for this week. I don't know. I haven't checked to see like any of the like response from the people who generally watch this. I know that I didn't particularly care for it, and I think they made a mistake in how they tried to structure the show. I think they could have done like you have like 2 to 3 seasons per like Castlevania game, like to establish the characters and, you know, have their conflict with Dracula, and then you fast forward. So like you could have done Trevor's story first, and you do Richter's story, and then you do whoever comes after Richter. After that, you could have gotten like 6 seasons out of this, but they decided to like continue the Castlevania 3 cast past, you know, killing Dracula, and now they're trying to figure this show out, and the direction they've settled on is not a direction I particularly care for.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts on that. That's all I have to say.
Right now, audience rating summary has this at a 4.7. But that might be. Hold on.
Out of 10.
So this is on Google. This
is out of 5.
Netflix doesn't do ratings anymore.
Right.
This is a 4.7, but right above it only lists 2 seasons. So
right.
I wonder if that's only the reviews for 2 seasons.
I guess we'll have to like go to Reddit or something to see how people felt about this. I wouldn't be surprised if people liked it, because like I always feel like I'm on the wrong sides of these things. Where like
it's because there's a different experience watching it with a community than watching it alone.
Yeah.
I feel
maybe, but we're a small community of fairly like-minded people.
When you don't like something, I disagree, and I kind of side with like the general public. I don't think I like this season as much as I did season 1 or season 2.
Yeah, this show's been in pretty steady decline for me since the first season. I will say that the first season is pretty damn good, but like the animation quality and the writing and the plot has slowly degraded each and every season.
There were a bunch of scenes that I felt were pretty choppy, and I think they kind of skimped on some of the animation. But there were also some animation scenes that were fucking amazing.
Yeah, they put all their money into this.
I think it was very inconsistent.
There's the word for that in anime. There's a word for it where it's all the high budget action scenes. If you know and you watch anime, you know what that word is.
It was a particular scene with like Cypher when she was fighting the first angel that they were doing. She was up in the air, and it like slowed down, and they did like a panning shot of her. It was really, really well done. But then there were other.
And like when Isaac was riding the horse, like they had the tracking shot with that. There were some good shots in here, but then you have like the fish in the pond when Alucard is like fishing. That is literally just like the fucking cell of the fish being moved up and down with no movement around the water.
And then you had the scenes through hell that were just really shitty CGI. And when the mirrors would come together, it was like this really shitty CGI that they made, and it didn't feel right.
Remember that mech that came through the alternate dimension where Reboot was still a thing?
I saw that, I'm like, please.
BattleTech came in there.
Don't put mechs in my Castlevania.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, whoa, that's
apparently
a fucking weird world right there.
Someone on Reddit spotted Dante from Devil May Cry's sword in one of the infinite dimensions, and they're speculating that there's going to be a crossover. I don't care.
Oh my god.
It would be so stupid. Dante coming in with his sword and guns in fucking 1300s Europe. It'd be so dumb.
I want him to come in with his fucking motorcycle and just destroy a demon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too. If there is a season 4, I'll have to be. I'll watch the first couple episodes, but I will have to be thoroughly convinced to just blindly sign off on another season review of Castlevania after this, because I don't care for it anymore.
I've got a good friend.
I did not feel like
I've got a good friend who really enjoyed Castlevania, and I think he probably will like this season as well. I'll see what he thinks about, and I can watch that with season 4 with him.
Because I had issues with the prior 2 seasons that got worse. But I could see if there were people who liked the things that I disliked about the first couple seasons, would be like very appreciative that they leaned more into them, and will probably be like, oh, season 3 is the best. Like, that's something I could see. I mean, and to each their own. I'm not telling you what to like or what not to like. I didn't care for this. And I would have much rather, after I finished this, I watched the 2011 Muppets movie, which I've never seen before on Disney Plus, and I was like, this was a much better use of my time than watching Castlevania.
Oh, it was, somebody said it was
Muppets.
Dante's sword spotted in the armory in Dracula's castle. There was like a sword on a wall.
That's
more
kind
of
of
an
different.
Easter
That's
egg.
where,
But it's
yeah. That's like in Gurren Lagann, where they had like a fleet of ships, so they could just put every anime ship that you ever fucking catch a reference to in there.
That
Just like,
looked
yeah,
like
no,
a generic
totally
fucking
on this
sword.
fleet. Don't worry about it.
I don't think so.
People like to dig into these things. It's this Easter egg culture that they've created for themselves, where they overanalyze every fucking frame.
What is this one? X-Men appears in an Easter egg? They're saying that Aboriginal guy was an X-Men or something? Remember when he stared at an X-Man? Or an Aboriginal guy?
Yes, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm swinging it. I'm swinging it.
Every fucking Aboriginal guy apparently is that one X-Men character. All right. That's all I have to say on this. Let's wrap this up, because I'd much rather get ready for the stream tonight than continue and enjoy a good story than continue talking about this story. So we'll wrap it up on episode 202 here. Please be sure to leave a rating on the Saturn Studs podcast. It is available on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. Please leave a review if you enjoy the show, and tell a friend. Help us take over the world. Like, spread us like the coronavirus.
Yeah. Viral podcast.
I want you to be like everyone in a room you can come in contact with. I want them to listen to the next episode of the Saturn Studs. So do your part. You can support the show if you enjoy it so much through the donation link in the description of this episode. You can check out SaturnStuds.com for links to our streaming platforms. We're on Twitch and Mixer, Saturn Studs on both of them, and Twitter at StudsSaturn, Facebook.com/Saturn Studs. All that social media jazz. We'll be back next week with episode 203 of something. Don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But until next time, be well, stay safe, and party like it's 1995.
Peace.
Bye-bye.